Freakonomics is the study of scarcity, more or less. So it's a trade-off you make when there's a bunch of stuff that people want, but not enough so that everyone can have everything they want. I think that's more or less what economics is. Freakonomics is just taking those same ideas, right, that there's not enough to go around, but instead of thinking it in abstract terms or in mathematical terms, it's applying it to ridiculous topics like, you know, seating sumo wrestlers or the kind of names you give to your kids. It's just taking the paradigm and applying it to a set of questions which are so embarrassing and degrading that before me, no economist was willing to have any part of it.
I mean, honestly, what Freakonomics is really is like the way that we collectively look at content, look at ideas or topics even. What I get a kick out of is on our blog, like I'd say every time there's a blog post that gets, let's say, 50 or more comments, there's always 1 or 2 comments that says, this shouldn't be on the Freakonomics blog because this isn't Freakonomics. Freakonomics is all about blah, 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 and this is different, and, which I love because, like, theoretically, we would know what Freakonomics is if anybody does. But what I love about that is it shows how people who read and think about ideas are also invested in what economics is or what Freakonomics is. And I mean, we've never actually tried to define it at all. It's just kind of what we do. I guess if you had to define it, I mean, we could, but they'd be terrible definitions. They'd be bland and, you know, way too narrow, way too broad at the same time.
The ideas that we play with are simple ones, and there's no reason to make it complex. And in fact, I think that one of the things that aggravated academics about the book is that they're academic ideas, but they're so simple. I mean, we try to convey to regular people the power of ideas rather than the power of math or the power of techniques. I think one reason people like the book is that everybody hates economics. Everyone who took economics in college has bad memories of taking economics in college. And what we show is that the ideas that are buried in economics classes, they're really interesting ideas. It's just, you got to strip away the math and the complexity and the applications to, you know, the beekeeper and the apple orchard, and apply them to questions people care about, and then economics is useful.
Yeah, I also think economics is a lot like, you know, a lot of things that like kids learn. You know, you see, like, if you bring a kid to a science museum, they've figured out how to teach it in a way that's compelling to them. And economics is just generally not presented that way at all. In fact, it's the opposite. It's presented as something so complex and important and brainy that you cannot possibly understand it, and therefore you cannot understand what's going on in the world through this lens. And Levitt's researchers say, screw that, that's exactly the opposite. The concepts and ideas are actually incredibly useful and practical, and they probably should be understood, but it takes a good explainer. And I mean, I think that's what Levitt is a good explainer of what economics is. And to me, it's a little bit like where psychology was maybe 50 or 60 years ago, where it was this arcane academic pursuit that then people began to discover how it applied to the real world and their real lives. Maybe too much now, where people are in the mall are blabbing about projection and regression and why you're messed up because your mother didn't breastfeed you and whatnot. But I think that economics is just starting to get to the point where people discovered there's worthwhile, interesting stuff that can be applied to daily life.